Hey folks, back with another video. Let's dive into what stories got my attention today, beginning with the Caucasus region. As usual, Armenia and Azerbaijan traded fresh accusations of shelling cities and killing civilians. Azerbaijan said that 14 people were killed when Armenian shells hit the town of Barda, which is in the northeast of Nagorno-Karabakh, while the Armenian-backed officials in Nagorno-Karabakh said that the Azeri shells had fallen on the enclave's two largest cities, killing one person. Naturally, both sides denied the other's claim. Now, Armenia's defense ministry also confirmed on Wednesday that Azerbaijan had seized the town of Gubadli between the enclave and the Iranian border, an apparent military gain that could make a diplomatic solution more difficult. Now, Azerbaijan rejects any solution that would leave the Armenians in control of the enclave, which it claims it is legally there and that the Armenians have illegally occupied. While Armenia regards the territory as part of its historic homeland and says the population there needs its protection. Now, as long as the two countries are adamant on this demand, then there will be no peaceful solution to this problem. Hopefully, in the new whatever, anyone who is trying to negotiate, broker deal between them can find a third way. Moving on, it seems that the police in northwestern Pakistan on Wednesday have arrested 55 suspects after a bombing at an Islamic school that killed 8 students yesterday, something that I had reported about. Now, the arrests were made from the vicinity of the seminary in the city of Peshawar, and suspects were being questioned. The police official Mohallat Shah had told the news agency DPA. Now, all except 6 of nearly 140 students who were injured have been discharged from hospitals, according to which was Muhammad Asim Khan, the spokesman of the city's largest Lady Reading Hospital, had said. Now, police and intelligence agency believe that the chief cleric at the seminary, Sheikh Rahimuddin Haqqani, might have been the target. Now, Haqqani uh, has been has been targeted previously 2 times as well. He's a cleric from the Afghan city of Jalalabad, and it is said that he has close ties to the Afghan Taliban, and that he was being targeted by the rival Daesh extremist group. So far, the police have collected all the forensic evidence from the bombing site and are investigating to find out if there is any Daesh footprint. Hopefully, the Pakistani justice system brings the perpetrators to justice, but I hope that the Pakistani civil society starts to condemn terrorism more broadly and builds up mechanism to name and shame these people, because as long as the general public does not come to revolt and just says an end to this will continue. Moving on, according to the Chinese state-backed research organization South China Sea Strategic Situation Probing Initiative's website has reported a spike in the U.S. military flights over the seas near China, which I believe reflects which they say reflects Washington's drive to deter Chinese expansion in the contested waters, the Voice of America reported. Now, U.S. military surveillance planes have flown over China's coast 60 times in September. Now, this was something that I had covered in my previous videos. I can't remember which date, but nonetheless, the U.S. Army Major Randy Reed, a spokesperson for the Indo-Pacific Command, said that the flight frequency near China has been consistent over time. He called the air movement, quote, a continued demonstration of our commitment to the region and our willingness to defend the freedoms enshrined in the international law, end quote, according to the Voice of America report. Now, most sorties flew over the South China Sea, the organization's website said. Now, Beijing, of course, contests sovereignty over the resource-rich 3.5 million square kilometer sea with five other Asian governments. And the U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo said in July that Washington would help other states resist the Chinese expansion. Now, I welcome that the Americans are playing a role in this against the Beijing government. Now, China has, of course, long denounced the U.S. surveillance activities, while the U.S. has complained of quote unquote unsafe intercepts by the Chinese aircraft. Now, Alexander Huang, who's the strategic studies professor at Tamkang University in Taiwan, told the Voice of America that a particular point of interest there was the Luzon Strait between Taiwan and the Philippines. He believed that the U.S. allies are not strong at that South China Sea entry point as they are in the East China Sea. Now, I don't want to get too much into the nitty gritty. I just thought that I would uh, make a point of this particular thing to bring both to my awareness as well as to my listeners' awareness of what's happening on the ground in this particular sort of area. But moving on into another part of this area up north, it seems that the Lieutenant General Kevin Schneider, the head of U.S. forces in Japan, has said on Monday that U.S. troops could be sent to defend the Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea. The islands are also known as Diaoyus in China, and they are at the center of a maritime dispute between Tokyo and Beijing. Now, the Lieutenant General had launched the Keen Sword 21, a massive naval exercise conducted jointly by the US and Japan. Now, this is a 10-day military exercises which are held every other year. This year's drill will involve 9,000 US troops and about 37,000 Japanese troops, 20 ships, and 170 aircraft. Now, a military confrontation between Japan and China over the Senkakus would draw the US due to a mutual defense treaty between Washington and Tokyo. Now, next month, Australia will join the other Quad countries, which are Japan, the United States, India, in the annual Malabar naval exercises off of India's coast for the first time since 2007. It will be the first time the four countries conduct a multilateral military exercises together in recent years. Now, as you might have known from all the videos that I do in this respect, of course, I support all the moves where we are helping our allies and integrating both our economies and our militaries. While for the economy side, it's to bring in peace and prosperity and hopefully increase happiness in as a result, and on the military side to build a strong military relations to create a credible deterrence against any nation or country that might think of going rogue and causing chaos. Moving on to a little bit of a lighter story, but something that I particularly was happy to learn about is that one of the earliest churches in Israel has been unearthed at the foot of a of a the Banias Nature Reserve in Israel's north. Now, the Byzantine church was built on top of a Roman era temple around the 400 Common Era time. Now, the Roman era temple was dedicated to the Greek god Pan, from whom the park takes its name. Now, the 4th to 5th century Christian builders had then adapted the Roman pagan temple to fit the needs of the relatively new religion, according to the University of Haifa professor Adi Erlich in a brief Hebrew language video announcing the find. Now, Ehrlich hypothesizes that the church was built to commemorate Jesus' significant interaction with Peter, who recognized his teacher as the Messiah. Now, this is documented to have taken place in the area called the Caesarea of Philip during Jesus' time. Now, according to some Christian traditions, it is in this region that Jesus tasked Peter with establishing Christianity and said the famous phrase, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heavens," which is recorded in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. Now, the temple was originally built circa 20 BCE. It became an important Christian center with its own bishop from 320 Common Era. Now, the original Roman temple architecture structure was Christianized and turned into a church. Now, this was a story that, as I said, interested me, and I thought to bring it to you good folks. Now, this is one of the things that I hope that Israel can spread to the Middle East more, as the Middle Eastern Arab countries and Israel continue to make more historic peace deals. I hope that Israel can get them to be more curious about their history. Hopefully, they can conduct more excavation. I mean, they do have conducted some excavation, but hopefully, as peace reigns, they could do more excavation, and that we could better understand our history of this region and fill in the gaps of our knowledge. Well, that's it for this video. If you like the video, then hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for future updates. Write in the comments your thoughts, criticisms, and anything I might have missed. And I will see you in the next video.